Hello, I'm Polish Paul, welcome to the channel. Today we're gonna build some more in Planet Coaster 2. In last episode we started to using the brand new stones and build giant heart that is bleeding. In this episode we're gonna build a monster that climbs the mountain trying to reach that heart. It's part of the lore of this roller coaster what I'm working on. Big build, so I had to split it in a few parts. With that out of way, if you like what you're seeing and you want to see some more builds from me and see how I'm doing them, then please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let's go! Just a quick disclaimer, so what's happening here is I'm just doing some finishing touches to the coaster, what I didn't done last time, and then I'm gonna start building the giant creature. Also, usually when I build, I'm trying to keep my camera as steady as possible, because I know when you speed up the Planet Coaster 2 footage, it can be all over the place. And also, even if I speed it up, I usually have in like 12 to 14 times of speed. With this video, it's sped up 18 times, and also you can see the camera going kind of all over the place. And that is because when I've been building this, let's call it a stone giant for now. When I've been building that, it requires you to move camera a lot to get all the angles. It's very irregular structure, it don't have, let's say, any symmetry to it and everything else. That's why you're gonna see the screen moving a lot, but hopefully you will still enjoy it. There was no other way to do it, and also I didn't want to keep it too long. That's why I sped up faster than usual. So let me just take you through the process here slowly as I'm building. So what's happening here is I'm kind of doing the outline of this creature I'm building, and the best way to do so is just to use some long objects what are in the game, just to have the idea of the shape. So you have to think about your legs, but also the hips and the torso, your back, kind of how it would naturally bend, as well as the shoulder, how they would look maybe if you stretch one arm up, another one down, and then of course head and neck. So I've done that just to keep natural proportions. You don't want to end it up like when you draw in the stick figure, when you just got those hands coming and legs coming out of one line. You have to take into account the shoulders as well, and the length of the legs and everything. So this creature here, in the lore, what I'm doing for this coaster, I kind of working it out. It's not finished yet. It's gonna be like a story to it, like you got some stories for, I don't know, Nemesis in Alton Towers and stuff like that. So I'm working this out, kind of got idea, but need to just put it all together. But basically I want this creature to look, well, still like a creature, so not like a human, but more like a feminine woman like features. So I've done like a longer legs, maybe slimmer waist and stuff like that. So using the stones, it's finding the right pieces. I've done a creature before in Planet Coaster 2, but I use the aquatic stones, which are much better shape actually to use for these types of build. But anyway, the idea here was not to use too many stones, but choose the one that look maybe realistic enough, but I don't want to have too many stones so they look like messy, like a mess of stones. As you can see here, I'm experimenting as always. When you build something, it won't happen straight away. It's gonna be some trial and error involved here and there. I was experimenting with the aquatic stones, which I used before to build a creature. Because they actually would be perfect for like waist and arms and that, but of course they got them shells rendered into them, so it wouldn't fit the story here what I'm going for. Saying that, I would like developers to maybe do aquatic stones, but without the shells, just to give us more options for fun. So once again, for arms, it was a bit of a struggle, because I wanted to try to kind of do like a biceps outline. I wanted them to look kind of realistic, but I didn't want them to look too fat. Like this is my other creature, by the way, what just popped in for a split second on screen. So I wanted it to look kind of like, like not like it's got some sort of bingo wings or something like that. I wanted to keep all the shapes, let's say, and the looks of it proportion, that's the word I'm looking for, in check here. Thankfully, it is a creature, it's not a real person. Doing real person wouldn't be possible. I actually at one point was thinking about doing like a actual humanoid, let's say, face out of stones, but I quickly changed my mind when I realized they're not gonna scale as good as I want them to, and also it just would look silly. So I ended up, it is a druidic theme, so like a Celtic vibes. That's why I ended up with this kind of like a goat skull, but also not like a, like a monsterish skull as well. So it's in the end it's turned out alright. So once again, as I'm building it here, once again trying to do arms, the arms just wouldn't happen for me for a while. So I imported the other ones, but they didn't work with this build as well. So they just looked silly proportion wise and how they shaped. I would have to use all the aquatic stones for them. So in the end, I ended up changing it. So that's why it took so long. But builds like that, when maybe it's not that much symmetry, everything is at different angle as well and just looks different than opposite side. They do tend to take me longer, but also I like to build that way. I don't like straight lines, even if you see look like in the background and that. I don't like too many straight lines and too many straight edges, just like in real life. If you ever walk on the street, even if it's like a straight path, just look ahead, have a look at the curbs and road and how the road maybe slightly elevates and not, and the curbs getting like bigger and smaller is the gap between curb and the road, and they're not perfectly straight as well, even though at a glance it appears to be so. So that's why I kind of like to use not the actual, even if I build the buildings, not the actual walls and everything. I find them limiting with building on the grid, and also to straight, like this sterile look. So I like this, let's call it more dirty look. So but it does take more time. So finally, eventually, the arm started happening for me, and that's the shape I went with. What's important in this build as well is the hands. So in my previous monster, what I did, just for fun of it, that was my actually first creation in Planet Coaster 2, because I wanted to check out all the scaling and that. The hands wasn't important, but this build with the stretch arm, it's actually one of the things you're gonna look a lot, because it's reaching to this big sculpture what draws everyone's attention. So I wanted the hands to look like actual hands. Of course, the finger placement and their shape and length, that's have to be taken into account from. This stone, it works thankfully from the aquatic theme for the a flat stone, and with the finger shapes and that, I use this Viking wall pieces, but I would like to adjust each separate, let's say, stone what it's stuck together, but the game gives you 3 at once. But never mind, because it still kind of made it look like a hand. And same on this side, even maybe it's something was not gonna be that much visible for actual people if they visited this park, and maybe something what's only visible with a drone shot, let's say, but because I can see it, I decided, I want this monster here to properly grab the ground, the mountain. As you can see here, I'm doing this hand without realizing it's actually, it's two left hands. So eventually I'm gonna change it. I noticed when I've been doing this little pinky here that, oh wait, that's wrong. Time to swap some fingers. So that's what's happening here. And once again, trying to shape them as realistically as I can with with what games give me, which is still a lot, Not many games offer this level of customization and manipulation of objects, and then remembering it so well as well after saving. So Planet Coaster 2 definitely doing this right. I wanted to have realistic feet, and at first I actually done a foot that kind of appeared to be quite realistically shapen, let's say, with the heel and everything, but it was way too big. It couldn't have a giant feet like that. So eventually I kind of had to settle for this maybe squarish looking foot, but still added some toes. just so it's kind of reassemble foot. But yeah, I would like to have it like a, you know, in the middle to kind of go inwards. It's kind of look like a, you know, if you hurt your foot or break it, it gets swollen. But never mind, because it's a video game, and also this creature is not real. Had to manipulate some stones. I managed to move some fingers, but of course I couldn't do too much with it because of how the pieces are shaped. So, you know, but I managed to do some just so it kind of looks like it grabs the, you know, like it sticks to the surface. Of course, swapping the toes for other foot. Other foot gonna go underwater, but I still eventually later on, you know, when I doing my finishing touches for the coaster, I gonna add some like a little stone down there underwater because it's slightly visible. So what I had to do here is make sure the coaster the people actually don't gonna get, you know, their head smacked in with the giant stone foot. So I kind of went in the end for, I like when Hyperia last year opened in Fort Park, and when I went on it, I like this first corner what takes you to the lift hill, that it's banked but kind of outbanked, so it tips you opposite way the corner is going. So that's what I went with that foot. Now building the head, you know, with those stones kind of proven difficult at first, but eventually, you know, it did happen. So I used the sphere as to have kind of like a outline for it. Now for using the symmetry tool I could do it, but because the stones are so twisted and turned, even the mirroring wouldn't get it right, so it's all had to be done by hand, just extending some, let's say, bones, even though they stones. It's got this like a scary vibe, and yeah, I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, so the shape I wanted to be so it's not looks like this, like a bulging two round head. Still needs to be like a creature, like, you know, something what maybe if you seen you would be kind of slightly like scared of it. I mean, I would be if I saw anything made of stone so tall and moving towards me. But you know, this one even more. So I tried to do the jaw, but because that's the smallest stone piece I had, couldn't make it too small, so in the end this monster just got this skull, which means it cannot chew. But never mind, because it's made of stone, so you don't need to eat. Stones don't need feeding. So I adjusted some nose here, and yeah, so I tried a bit more to have this jaw, and I wish I could have different stone pieces, but eventually, because it didn't happen, not been happening, I went against it. The idea here with those antlers was to have those eyes from this sculpture, you know what games gives you, to kind of glow. So that's what I wanted to do, but then it looked a bit weird because it gave it this strange shape at the bottom. So eventually I ended up just adding fire to it, as you saw in the first shot. Now before the video ends, you know, the sculpture is nearly finished. Before it ends, I'm gonna tell you we're gonna have some more shots of it at the end. So yeah, that's how it's come around. It took about 2-3 hours to build this. But saying that, I had fun, and also I feel like I've got enough time, you know, I play in this game. I know if you subscribe, I super appreciate it. This is slow builds I'm doing here, everything happens so slowly, but I'm trying to do them very detailed, so, you know, in the end, once I upload the park to the workshop, you're gonna have very detailed park to play with. So that was the first try with the head, and eventually it had to be changed, few adjustments, and then the sculpture been ready. So let's go to some action shots of it. Let's go.